So I'm working on a thing, and I've just been struck by how much AI has changed the profession of programming in just the last 6 to 12 months. This is what it used to look like when I wrote code. I'd use this editor called Sublime, and I used Sublime for 10 plus years, and it's very similar to basically every text editor that I've been using since I started coding 20, 30 years ago. For a developer to change their editor is a big deal. You learn a lot of shortcuts and you have efficiencies that you develop that make you much in the same way that chefs learn knife skills and learn, the most efficient way to whisk or peel potatoes. Developers do the same thing, and their developer environment is often optimized for their working style. And it takes a lot of effort to get in, like, time investment to get your editing environment fine-tuned to your particular needs and way of working, and switching off of that is typically a pretty big ask. So you'll find a lot of developers my age who have been using the same text editor for 10, 20 years. I switched text editor 6 months ago, and I switched to this one called Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code was put out by Microsoft, I don't know, I want to say 5 years ago or so. And it's really good. It really did add a lot of bells and features. That would, for instance, you could run your code in the terminal here right in the editor. It was fully customizable. Pretty quickly became one of the more popular, or if not the most popular, editor amongst like open source developers. And then, I don't know, about 6 or 12 months ago, they released Copilot. Think of it as a GPT powered tool to help you write code. Some people would refer to it as like fancy autocomplete, which is not like that bad of a mental model for it. Like, it does this. You can see here I'm writing this method, and it basically just guesses based on everything up above what you might want to do next. And you can, it's actually pretty good at it. It's guessing here that I want to run a new method called add message, and once I hit tab and say that's true, it can write the code based on what it's seen elsewhere in my code to complete that idea. And that's pretty powerful. Does it always get it right? No. There's things in here that I probably have to tweak to make this work, but it's a lot better than going out and copying and pasting code from Stack Overflow or something. It's way faster, and it's pretty incredible how often it does get it right, or how often it does like 80% of the work. A few days ago, I installed Chat for GitHub Copilot. It's basically Chat GPT in the browser, but it also has access to your developer environment, so it can see the code that you're writing and make direct suggestions, right? And so I had asked this question earlier. I think I punched in an error that I had, and it comes back and it says, hey, here's like the description of what might be happening. And it says, here's the code that might fix it. And I could come over here to that code, and I can click a couple of buttons. I can click this button to copy it, or I can click this button here to drop it right into wherever my cursor is, all right? I can delete that. Oh, I think there's another option here. Oh, I can insert it into a new file. Or I can run that code directly in the terminal and see what happens, right? This is super powerful. I mean, this is really incredible. I mean, prior to this, I had been doing a lot of copying and pasting from my developer environment into ChatGPT, and using ChatGPT 4 as a bit of a rubber duck and ask questions. And one of my favorite things to do is to just copy and paste the stack trace of the error that came up right in ChatGPT, and it would often just tell me, okay, you want to go look over on this line. Now you've got that completely integrated into this developer environment, and I don't have to go to ChatGPT. And this makes me think of a few things. I've talked before about chess and how Kasparov talks a lot about how AI, hit chess 25 years ago, most notably when Kasparov lost to Deep Blue. And then AI started to proliferate throughout chess and its impacts. And, he broadly says that it's actually a good thing. Chess has become more popular. The human players have become much better. But they become better because of the AI tools that are available to them. And it's kind of comical to think that a chess player who wanted to be competitive today would not avail themselves of the AI training tools that are available to them, right? There's just no way that you could be competitive with someone who is. It's how I feel with coding right now. I mean, like, is the AI replacing the developer? No. But like a developer who knows how to use AI is going to be writing 5 to 10 times more code, probably with less errors than someone who doesn't. And we kind of talk a lot about in this industry about the 10x developer, and there's a lot of like mythology around like, oh, is there such a thing as a 10x developer or not? Yeah, like AI creates 10x developers. I'm pretty confident saying that now. And these tools are still very new and changing weekly, and they will just continue to get better, and people will continue to learn how to use them better. And this is going to like completely change the way that coding works. And I think there's incredible opportunity. I mean, I'm having so much fun writing code right now. I'm making so fewer mistakes. I'm writing like there's always been like the ideas in the head, and then it's taken such a grind to bring them into the world. And this is just reducing the friction on seeing your ideas through to fruition in a really exciting way. It's the most fun I've been having coding my whole life. But if you don't learn this, it's going to be hard to compete with the programmers who do know in 5 years when you're looking for jobs and stuff. So that's that one. And I think that this is hitting developers first. I think the question is not, will your job be impacted by AI? It's when will your job be impacted by AI? And I think those timelines are measured in months, not years. The other thing that's interesting to me is ChatGPT does exist, but I am still getting a lot more value out of having ChatGPT and sort of a fine-tuned, tailored version of ChatGPT right here in my work environment. And then not having to tab back and forth between my editor and their and doing the copy and pasting, the fact that this has access to my native my developer environment, it can kind of inspect these files, it can see the error messages in the terminal, makes it a much, much more powerful tool for me. And that makes me think that there is actually going to be a lot of opportunity for building like ChatGPT in the blank, right? Like if you work for a real estate firm, whatever tool it is you're using to manage your inventory, to write your listings, to communicate with your customers, to write your leases, it is going to make a lot of sense to have ChatGPT baked directly into that software, even if all the users of that software also have access to ChatGPT in the browser, like the general version. So I think like the fear of like ChatGPT sort of becomes like the end all be all solution for everyone. I don't buy that. I think there's going to be a whole lot of opportunity to integrate this technology into other pieces of software. And I suspect developers are going to be able to stay busy doing that for the next 5 to 10 years. And like the companies who don't get that are going to have a hard time keeping up with the ones who do. It really is going to be an arms race here. It's going to be like a software arms race. So a lot of opportunity for developers, I think, for the developers who learn how to work with these tools, who learn how to build with these tools. And then like a lot of peril for the ones who don't. And I suspect that we're going to see that play out across a lot of industries.